All right, back here on Bronco Nation News. As I said, we're going to try something new. Mike Sanford's going to join us right now. Where's Mike? There he is. Mike, there he is. Let's go full screen here with Mike Sanford. Mike, I forgot. I got to put on my headphones here so I can hear you. But it's hot. We're on the field here at Paulson Stadium, and Mike Sanford joins us here on Bronco Nation News. Mike, you start talking, then I'll put the headphones on.
Yeah, man. Hey, BJ, it's awesome to see your face. They're in Statesboro, Georgia. I see a little sweat on your brow, so that means it's a little warm. There's some definitely some
towel right here.
Yeah, a little perspiration, some sweat equity right there. But man, it's awesome to be on with you. I'm really excited to be hosting the Taco Bell postgame show. We'll jump on immediately after what's going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm excited. I'm anxious. I have the nerves that I think so many of us Bronco fans do have, and even for myself, I have some of those those coaching memories are coming back of like, I don't know what we have until we actually play a game. So I think it's going to be fun for all Bronco Nation to see exactly what we have, which against what's going to be a very game opponent in Georgia Southern.
We'll get to the matchup here in a second, but yeah, just to reiterate, no more waiting an hour like you have in the past for the postgame show to start. We will kick off the postgame show within 5 minutes or so of this game ending. So Mike, when the game ends, the clock hits 0, flip over to Bronco Nation News on YouTube. Mike Sanford will fire up the postgame show. He'll give you his thoughts. He'll give you his analysis. He'll take your comments, your questions, and then I'll go down to the field and interview Spencer Danielson and the players, and then I'll pop on the postgame show. We'll play those interviews. I'll give you my thoughts as well. So really excited, Mike, and appreciate you right off the bat. I want to make sure I say thank you that you agreed to give this a shot. We're going to do it at least for the first 2 games here, the Oregon game next week as well, and see how that goes. But excited for you. And again, right when the game ends, like 5 minutes, jump right on that post-game show, and we'll start that right away. I do want to pan the camera over here, Mike, if I can, for 1 second. We got the specialist taking the field here. So there's our first look of the first players in full uniform as the special. Oh, this looks like the some of the quarterback. Oh, Fulton's one of the holders, I guess. But we got the punters, the kickers. Mike, we're under an hour till kickoff now. You mentioned the nerves and everything, but once you get helmets on and get pads on and get out here for warm-ups, it starts to get real.
No, it sure does. And you're looking at what I believe is one of the best specialist groups in college football. JFR, Jonah Dalmas, you see him huddling up. I had a chance to get to know Jonah Dalmas just a little bit at Bronco or at Mountain West Media Days, and just what an incredible young man, tremendous testament to just what he is and what this program is. So I'm really excited to see him today and see JFR, hopefully not too much. Love to see him about once, maybe, just one highlight reel type punt, pin him down inside the 1, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, it's real. This is not a drill anymore. This is not a spring game. This is the real deal. And I think it's going to be intriguing. It's going to be there's a lot of storylines at play. And I think the most important storyline for me that I'm looking at is what is this offense going to look like? How's it going to be different under new offensive coordinator, new-ish offensive coordinator, Dirk Cutter, Maddox Madsen? How's he going to settle in? And how much of this offense is going to run through Ashton Genty in the opening game of the season? You got to think about the long game, about Ashton Genty and how important he will be down for a Mountain West run, but also you want to make a great first impression. Just like Travis Hunter made a great first impression, Shedeur Sanders made a great first impression in terms of just notoriety across the landscape of college football. So I'm anxious to see, is this going to be a 25 type of a carry game for Ashton Genty? Is it more like 18 and about 4 receptions? I think it's going to depend on how many explosive plays the Broncos are able to create through Ashton Genty.
You mentioned the unknowns of that first game, both for, mostly on the opponent's side, but for you as well. Once the lights turn on and you see guys out there in a real game situation, what that first game is as a coach, what keeps you up at night the night before the game in terms of just the unknowns of what you're going to see?
Well, I think when you have a new football team, it's certainly if you're a brand new coaching staff, it's really what is our offensive line going to look like against the defensive line? And conversely, what's our defensive line going to look like against their offensive line? Sometimes you have a preconceived idea about which unit is going to be strong, and you don't know until that opening game, until you see the line of scrimmage moving one way or the other. That keeps you up at night. But with this offensive line returning, it's more about this era of portal and NIL. Does a team like Georgia Southern, are they better up front than they were a year ago? There's so many moving pieces, so many moving parts. And, I do think that there's a lot of storylines in the Georgia Southern program. Clay Helton just recently at his presser talked about this is the best version of his Georgia Southern Eagle roster that he's had. So is that going to be tremendous growth from last year, a team that went to a bowl game? So it's a great test right out the bat from a conference that is very good in the in the group of 5 level, the non-power 4, that Sun Belt has been fantastic. So I'm anxious to see exactly how it all plays out. The offensive line of Boise State versus Georgia Southern front, and same thing on the other side of the ball.
You mentioned Genty, man, just his first game here, all the hype, the Heisman campaign officially kicks off today. I saw him, he had the shades on walking in with the headphones, and he came out here shirtless for the pregame warmups. I mean, just looks cool, calm, and collected as he can be, and knowing, that must be a nice feeling just to know you walk onto that field and you're the best player on the field by far. But just his debut today, what are you expecting from Ashton Genty?
I expect him to just pick up where he left off. I think that it's ideally you have 18 carries, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 receptions, 78 yards, and a touchdown. Like, that's the kind of performance that you want. You want to get him in, you want to get him out, and you want to make a strong case for a Heisman. But I don't think that the storyline today is necessarily just about Ashton Genty and his Heisman run. The Broncos have to start fast. This is Spencer Danielson's first season opener as a head coach. I mean, he definitely had the time as an interim head coach, and I can speak from experience of being an interim head coach, being a opening day head coach, and they're 2 completely different experiences. You get to see how your culture and everything you did in the offseason, how that ends up translating to what happens on the football field. And so I think the number one priority out of this game is get out of Statesboro with a good, solid win, period. And anything else, Ashton Genty, Heisman type run, all that is cherries on top.
I'm sitting my setup here is right by this kind of floor level bar they have behind the end zone here. So they're already, let's just say, enjoying themselves with some liquid courage. They're going to be ready to go behind me here, behind the end zone. And I'm getting heckled a little bit myself over here. So it's going to be a festive crowd here. We'll just say that.
Yeah, set the scene for me, BJ, now that you're there. I mean, what is, the drive in? How early did you get there? Could you see the tailgate set up? It's a big deal in the South. Is this the area?
They're over here. No, they're the other way. I was going to try to give you a little panorama of the stadium here as the crowd's starting to file in. It's interesting. You got 2 levels on this side. The other side only has 1 level where the press box is. They've got their facility at the other end, and then on the Boise State side, they built kind of a makeshift end zone with some suites and things. And I mentioned the floor level kind of beer garden type area behind the end zone here. I can't spin the camera all the way around to show that, but there's a couple of guys that I'm sure would love to get in front of the camera here. No, it's a nice little, these little college towns. I mean, we stayed in Savannah, so I didn't get to see much of Statesboro, but pulled in, and it's kind of what you'd expect from kind of a small college town in the South, and a ton of tailgating going on all day, and a ton of fans. And they say this place seats 25,000. It doesn't feel that big. It feels a little smaller, but they do have a lot of seating on the berm, and in all 4 corners, essentially, there's some grass seating where you can bring a blanket and sit down in the corners. So that adds to the capacity, I guess, of the stadium here. But I'll tell you what, for all the humidity and heat that there is, and it is bad, there's some of these high clouds, and when the sun goes behind these high clouds, and then there's actually a nice little breeze as well, it's really not that bad, to be 100% honest with you. Maybe it's the 5 bottles of water I've already drank and the towel I have here to continue to wipe off on my face. But it's really not as bad as I was expecting. There's a nice little breeze that is helping. And as I said, there is a little bit of shade here and there when the sun goes behind these big clouds. Maybe I'm just ready myself after the 2 Inferno practices, Mike. I don't know.
You've been prepared. Hey, make sure, BJ, you're not just solely drinking water, man. You get some electrolytes in there too. You're going to flush your system. So mix in some of those salt tablets and packets from the sideline if you can sneak one after the Broncos go back inside. I'm seeing right here, we have great engagement already. Mark Michelson says, I predict a modest day for AJ, not because he isn't Heisman Trophy worthy, but because he is. BSU will either figure out how to use him as a decoy and find other weapons, or it's going to be a long day. I think there could be some truth to that, but at the end of the day, man, like, you don't want to get too cute if you're Dirk Cutter. This is this is a situation where you just want to put your best foot forward. And frankly, the best foot forward right now, outside of Jonah Dalmas and JFR, the best foot forward is riding behind this great offensive line in Ashton Jeanty and setting the tone early with this is going to be a long physical day for Georgia Southern. And that's what I'm here to watch. I do know that part of the country prides itself on being a football craze type country. They play great high school football in South Georgia, play great. You have a tremendous recruiting base in your backyard. So I do think that there's going to be a chip on the shoulder of the Eagles. The Georgia Southern program is going to want to make a case for this is real down South Georgia boy football. And so I think it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Well, speaking of chip on the shoulder, I was going to ask you about Maddox Madsen, man, being a former quarterback and so much on this quarterback battle going into the game and the season, and Maddox Madsen wins the job. What do you make of Maddox Madsen and his desire probably to go out and try to shut some people up today?
Well, I hope he doesn't carry too much of that into this game. I hope that Maddox Madsen's just worried about executing and operating the offense and moving the sticks, which is something that he's done. If he gets outside of himself, BJ, and starts trying to prove the doubters wrong and silence Bronco Nation, that's when I think the turnovers are going to start being created. Just play the game. You've played a lot of football. If you're Maddox Madsen, you played a ton of high leverage snaps a year ago. So I think it's important for Maddox just to play his game. Don't be caught up in every type of narrative that exists outside, and just enjoy the process. Enjoy being the starting quarterback and being a part of an offense that has a ton of weapons, and just be a great ball distributor and a great decision maker. And I think that's where Maddox Madsen ultimately can win over these fans.
You mentioned the specialists early in the game. How big is special teams and in particular field position on the road in a season opener?
Well, they're just watching early college football games this morning. There's block punts for touchdowns. If you're Stacey Collins, the number one thing you want to do is play sound special teams. Is that you want to avoid the catastrophic. And then as you start getting into the game, you want to create some type of game-changing play. But if you're playing the special teams, which I know Stacey Collins is the best in the business, I've worked with them at Utah State. If you're playing the game soundly, and you have great athletes with tremendous want to on the special team side of things, you're going to change the field position. You're going to create explosive plays. And that's where I do think this roster for Boise State, look at Sire Gaines potentially as a returner, other different, Breezy Dubar, that you got guys that could create opportunities because there is a lot of depth.
Well, you got your quarterbacks, your specialists right here, Mike, coming out. Maddox Madsen, nice crowd. We're in the corner where all the Boise State family section and tickets sold were. So you've got your returners, you've got your quarterbacks, the first set of players getting ready to head out onto the field here.
Yeah, I always love the early outs. You get a combination of your specialists, your returners, all the different people that are potentially going to be involved. A lot of times the centers make their way out over the course of the next 5-6 minutes. So quarterbacks are getting warmed up early. Is Malachi Nelson right in front of you right there? Is that who I see?
Here's Ashton Jeanty getting ready to do some kick returns as well. Wouldn't that be fun today to see Ashton Jeanty return a kick or two?
Yeah, I think it's a smart play by Boise State. Even if he has zero intention of returning a kick, that's going to get the attention of at least a couple PAs.
We got to get Jay Tuss to get his cameraman out of the way here. Jay Tuss, cameraman, Channel 7's right blocking our view here. Come on, John Mark. Let's slide over a little bit here.
Yeah, John Mark was part of our very long commute back to my house after the CSU debacle a year ago. So yeah, I remember spending some time with John Mark. But yeah, you can see Ashton Jeanty. If you just look at the screen right now, and I know a lot of people are watching on YouTube, on Twitter, on X, you can just see the lower half. I mean, that is the engine that it plows through all types of defenses. This guy creates. He creates at the point of contact. And Ashton Jeanty is somebody that I think that all of college football is going to know a whole heck of a lot more after these first few weeks of this season.
I'm just looking at from left to right. Ashton Jeanty, Sire Gaines, you got Breezy Dubar. I mean, even Tyler Crow. I mean, this is just a plethora of riches at the skill position here for Boise State this year.
It sure is. And that's just your running back group. That's, there's the guys that have played football. Sire Gaines making a big name for himself in this offseason. Spring ball and fall camp was fantastic from everything that I heard and read. But then you have the perimeter, the length at receiver, the speed at receiver. You have the one of the things that I'm most excited about, not having watched the 2022 season, is the return of Latrell Caples. To see him come back to health, a great story of a great Bronco, a guy that does anything, it was a great teammate a year ago, and now he's going to be arguably maybe receiver number one. That could be his type of role because of the experience. I mean, you got guys like Chase Penry that are probably in the fifth, sixth, seventh receiver conversation that are really good football players that could also put themselves into more
centers
opportunities today.
There go the big guys. There go the centers. I got to ask you, I know I already asked you about Ashton Genty, but man, just seeing him right here, what do you think is going through a guy like him mind? No, coming back to Boise State, maybe could have got bigger money elsewhere. The whole Heisman campaign, like his first game after 8 months off. Here we are, 46 minutes on the clock, finally putting the pads on. What do you think going through Ashton Genty's mind right now?
Well, I think I think he's not thinking at all about any second guessing of his decision to come back to Boise State. You saw how much running backs draft stocks plummet, period. So it's all about just creating value for yourself. So his entire mindset, just listening to his interviews, his mindset is twofold. Number one, he loves the game of football, like passionately loves football. And so he wants to just go do what he does and does incredibly well. Frankly, I believe that, he's got the mindset. I was created to be somebody that is different on this field. And then the second thing is he loves Boise State. He loves his teammates. And so he wants to do everything he can, just like he always has done, without any selfish ambitions, just to go do what he does for his teammates and for his university that he loves so much and has been so loyal to. So I think he's going to go out and play just consistent Ashton Genty football, which we all know is absolutely elite football.
Mike, again, you're going to be doing the post-game show live about 5 minutes after the game ends. We're excited to have you fire up. Give us your final thoughts here, whether it's a key or two or a bold prediction or just your final thoughts in terms of what you want to see in this game and then what you're expecting to be talking about on the post-game show.
This might be the paranoia of the former coach in me, but I do think that Georgia Southern is going to be a bigger test than most of Bronco Nation thinks it's going to be. There's going to be speed. There's really good football players in that program. So my full expectation is that this game isn't going to necessarily be won early on. I think this thing's going to go into the third quarter with some storylines. That's my gut feel, but it might just be paranoia. I don't know. It's my alma mater, so I get those same types of nerves. I think Georgia Southern's got a really good program and will have tremendous athletes. Boise State's going to go out and have to win this game. Nothing will be given to them.
Well, we appreciate it, Mike. We're looking forward to it. Again, we're going to have you on the post-game show. Super excited for that. And again, Mike Sanford will be on the post-game show right when the game ends, like 5 minutes after the game ends. As soon as it ends, switch over to Bronco Nation News on YouTube. If you don't see the broadcast right away, refresh your page every minute or two. It'll pop up. And Mike, you're going to take you want a lot of comments and a lot of thoughts. That's going to help really get Bronco. You want Bronco Nation's opinion here after game one.
No, I absolutely do. I want some reactions. I want some questions, and I look forward to. I'm going to be taking an entire notebook full of notes just to talk about some of the storylines that I see from a coach's perspective, but also wanting to make it something that makes the fans feel like they are connected to whatever happens on that field right behind you. So it's going to be a great day. It's great to be back. College football's back. It's Christmas morning, man. It's Christmas afternoon. Time to go have some fun, BJ.
We got 330 just watching on YouTube alone right now. So super excited for this. And I would anticipate the post-game show, Mike, having just as much interest here as we show another set of players real quick taking the field. But Mike, again, thank you so much for doing this. Really excited and appreciative of you for wanting to do this on the post-game show. I'll be joining you again. You'll come on live right when the game ends. You'll give your analysis, your thoughts. You'll take and get the pulse of Bronco Nation as Chris Marshall takes the field for his first time there. I know he's excited for that. It's going to be a fun game and a fun post-game show, Mike. You'll kick it off 5 minutes after the game ends. And then, as I said, I'll jump on. We'll hear from Spencer Danielson. We'll hear from the players. And I know we're looking forward to that. So, Mike, thanks again, man. And we'll be talking to you real soon here.
Yeah, log in right after for the Taco Bell post-game show. I'll be there with all the answers and to your questions, hopefully.
There he is. Appreciate it. Mike Sanford, again, he'll be on the post-game show. We are appreciative of him. We still got plenty to get to. We're going to hear from Stacy Collins. We got Marco Notriani as well. We got to take a quick time out, though. You're watching this show for free thanks to our great sponsors. Here's a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Plenty more as we continue to show you a live look at warm-ups. The Broncos streaming onto the field, and we'll keep getting you set here on Bronco Nation News. The fall kickoff sale is underway at Lithia, Florida, Boise. Check out their full inventory of vehicles at LithiaFordBoise.com. They've got NIL deals with 6 student athletes at Boise State, including 4 football players, Jonah Dalmas, Ahmed Hassanin, Matt Lauder, and Andrew Simpson. They're all rocking rides from Lithia Ford to Boise, and you can as well. The Raines family purchased our F-150 a couple years ago from Lithia. Couldn't be happier with the customer service. We still get the free lifetime oil changes. Always enjoy coming back and seeing Jim and his staff, so friendly. And our salesperson, Kim, did a tremendous job helping us out every step of the way, still sends us a Christmas card. So check them out, that fall kickoff sale. You looking for the F-150, the Ford Bronco, the E-Mach Ford Mustang, all their vehicles. Again, view them online, LithiaFordBoise.com. Check them out on Fairview and Boise, Lithia Ford of Boise. Taco Bell is hiring. You can get more information at TacoBellWorks.com. The Treasure Valley Taco Bell stores offering free food while you work, half your wages the next day after you work, great promotional opportunities, and more. It's a great environment, and if you're looking for a job, highly recommend Taco Bell. You can apply at TacoBellWorks.com, and you can also get more information there about the giving efforts of Taco Bell, the SON Management Group, and the Nicolason family. The student-endowed scholarships for the men's and women's basketball team, yep, they come from SON Management Group and the Nicolason family. Get more information, apply for a job, go eat at Taco Bell. Check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. You looking for that new jersey or shirt for game day? Head on in to the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. You can order anywhere in the world, but if you're in the Boise area, I highly recommend just going to the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall next to Pro Image. The Blue and Orange Store, whether it's coaches' sideline apparel, jerseys, caps, bumper stickers, car flags, you name it, they've got it at the Blue and Orange Store. Again, all your Boise State gear. I know there's a lot of places in town you can choose to go shopping for Boise State gear, but if you want the most comprehensive selection and you want to help a great guy in Travis Hawks, who's been a big supporter from day one of Bronco Nation News, check them out, the Blue and Orange Store, online, theblueandorangestore.com. Maybe you never thought about getting into the trucking industry, but if you're looking for a career change, you should. Transportation Compliance Service. It's a local company based in the Treasure Valley, helping folks all over the world get into the trucking industry, whether it's the DOT overweight permits, all the paperwork, everything you need to get out there towing that first load in no time, they can help you out. Those that try to do it themselves, in fact, 75% that try to do it themselves end up going out of business. Let the professionals handle the paperwork so you can get out there on the open road. Check them out, transcomservice.com, 866-813-7620. Again, Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com. On the go, don't have enough time to cook up a nice meal, but don't want to always be eating out fast food. You want a cheap option, you want a healthy option, well, I got it for you. LeanFeastMeridian.com. You make your order on a Sunday or Monday, they deliver the food to your house, and all week you've got your meals from Lean Feast. I'm talking chicken, steak, fish, shrimp, turkey, you name it, they got it all. It's 2 minutes in the microwave. You can have them in your fridge for up to 5 days. It's all healthy, all different kinds of diets, 10,000 plus combinations. The graphic on the bottom of the screen there is wrong. It is leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. Tell them you heard about it on Bronco Nation News. They'll hook you up with a sweet deal. And again, no excuse to not eat healthy now because they deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. It's Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. Former Boise State quarterback and longtime coach Mike Sanford joins local sports talk radio host Johnny Mallory for football talk with a unique perspective. They'll talk Boise State, college football, and beyond. Check it out every Wednesday at 8 on Bronco Nation News.
All right, back here live as countdown to kickoff continues on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show here on Bronco Nation News. We are in the Western Collective Studios. Shout out to those of you at the watch party. I know my wife's heading down with my kids. Jaden Finch is down there. We're going to check in next week probably with the folks at the watch party for the Oregon game. But you still got 35 minutes. Head on down to Western Collective if you want to watch the game down there. It's inside the National Bar. Right when you walk in, House of Western down there on Idaho Street. Turn to the right, and you'll be excited to go and watch the game. All right, the offense is getting ready to come over here. The full team is going to take the field. I'm going to get out of the way here for a second so you can watch live as your Broncos take the field for the first time together in 2024. Maddox Madsen right there. Ahmed Hassanin getting ready to greet him. Here come the 2024 Broncos getting ready to take the field for the first time. How you feeling, Bronco Nation? Loud cheers from the fans. A lot of Boise State parents, fans in the corner of the end zone here on the second level. Broncos for the first time in 2024 taking the field as a group. Full team out here, going to get some stretching in. A lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm down here on the field. As Boise State, the entire team is now on the field for pregame warmups. You see no big surprises. We haven't seen the full release that I have seen of anybody out for this game. Should be coming anytime now that the full team is out here, but I don't see any big surprises. So in terms of a depth chart perspective, you may see a little rotating of the offensive line since this is so hot down here on the field. I would expect you to see some rotating amongst some of the offensive linemen, rotating at a lot of positions, frankly. You're going to see the defensive line. There's Spencer Danielson on the left side of the screen. He's getting fired up now, walking back to the right here on the 5-yard line. But you're going to see a lot of players play. They're going to combat this heat, do what they need to do to get as many guys fresh as possible for this one. Here at Paulson Stadium, 36 minutes on the clock. And again, you're watching a live stream here at Paulson Stadium on the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. We've got 13 of them. We hope you'll consider subscribing to Bronco Nation News. $50 gets you a full year. $50 gets you a full year at Bronco Nation News using that promo code BNN50 deal. Wasn't the cheapest trip to get down here, but you're watching this show for free on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. Thanks to our sponsors, and thanks to those of you that have already subscribed to help make this possible. So if you're able to help us out, we'd really appreciate it. We'll be giving you live coverage from the field every game this season as Boise State gets set to kick off the 2024 campaign. They're going to meet at midfield. The first official hype circle on a game day for the Boise State football team. But again, all of our sponsors, there's 13 of them. We've been telling you about them throughout the show. We'll continue to. Go support the sponsors, folks. Go buy your next car or truck from Lithia. Go start an account at ICCU. Use Row Painting for your next painting project. Go shop at Jackson's, Ridley's Markets. Use Matt Bauscher to buy your next house. The list goes on and on with all of our great sponsors at Bronco Nation News, and we're super appreciative. And hopefully you're chowing down on some Taco Bell right now. We appreciate Taco Bell. They'll be sponsoring our post-game show. There it is, the first official hype circle in the books. The teams will spread out to their various spots, the positions. Got the defensive line coming over here to our left. We'll show you a little bit of that D-line right here, getting set with Coach Chinander for this game. Crowd starting to file in here. Boise State going with the all-white uniforms for the opener here against Georgia Southern. Probably a smart play. Georgia Southern's got navy blue helmets and jerseys. They've got white pants as well. But 8 months, 259 days, and we are finally within 35 minutes of kickoff for the Boise State football team. There was no slide on ESPNU. This game will kick off at 4:05. 4:05 kickoff on ESPNU. So make sure you're not late flipping over, or you will be late missing part of this broadcast. We're going to continue showing you the Broncos warm up, but we're going to hear from Stacy Collins. I caught up with him on Wednesday, getting set for special teams, linebackers, a lot to talk about with Stacy Collins. So keep watching the warm-ups. And again, Melinda, appreciate you. She says, this is awesome. Feel like we were there with you. That's the goal. That is the goal, folks, to give you a live look on the field so you can get that feeling of what it's like to be down here in Statesboro, Georgia. So truly appreciative. It's a miracle. I'm thankful that the internet's working so far. Our laptop hasn't overheated. So we might be playing with fire here. Luckily, we only have about 10 or 15 minutes to go. But hope you guys are enjoying this. And again, support the sponsors. Consider a subscription for making this happen. Exclusive, unparalleled access here as we get you set for 2024. Let's hear from Stacy Collins as we continue to show you what's going on here on the pregame show.
They're explosive. They had a freshman kick returner who's a freshman All-American, and they're explosive. They got punt return transfer in, but they've got some guys. They got great team speed. So, that's always a challenge in space with great team speed. They're very well coached. Their special teams coordinator, he does a great job. Their punter's got a lefty kid with a big leg. So, you put Pop on that tape, they're a good football team.
I know first game there's a lot of unknowns. In terms of special teams unknowns, is it usually
easier than like trying to look at an offense defense because this the scheme's going to stay the same from last year in terms of personnel versus scheme? Like what's it like trying to analyze special teams going into game one?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge, just like it is on offense and defense, because people can certainly change during the offseason. A lot of people are doing some studies trying to figure out what works best for them. So you try to get a beat on what you think they're going to be. I think these early games is more about yourself. How can we execute our fundamentals and techniques and schemes? So we try to work a broad base and make sure we're sound with what we're doing. And you see early, you saw games last week, special teams can make a big difference, especially, it's all the time, but these early games, you'll see big swings.
You obviously came in here to revamp the special teams and kind of get the focus back on, that making that equally important as offense and defense. And we saw the logos and all that. I mean, the 8 months, wherever it's been from when you got here and you implemented the system and everything and got the guys buying into special teams again to the group you're getting on the plane with tomorrow. How do you feel overall about special teams?
Well, I think, the cool thing about Boise State's culture's here, and so much of what you do from a special team standpoint starts with culture. It's the effort that you put in there. It's the type of players that you have. And certainly scheme's a part of it, but if you have those first two elements, it gives you a good base. And so these guys have been great guys to work with, no different than when I was here before. Now we got to put it on the field. So we put the work in. It'll be exciting to go down there and play a really good Georgia Southern team.
I know we've talked a lot about the returners and who those could potentially be. How do you feel about how that went and who are we going to see back there returning the kicks and punts?
Yeah, I think it's went well. You look at a handful of guys that we talked about before still in that mix. Latrell's done a nice job with it. Ashton's back there on both and handling both. And then Cooper Jones on punt returns, he stood out, so he's put a lot of competition in there. Caden Shannon with Penry being able to get back and get going, those are two guys that also have been back there working kick returns for us.
Is that just situationally? Is it just alternating guys? I mean, do you have one guy you're going to probably focus on mostly to start with? Or how do you kind of divvy the reps up there?
Sure, fair question there. A little bit of both. We're going to do some things situationally and, and work with that. And then we got to find out who can really produce in game day. So you may see a couple different people back there.
In terms of special teams demons, who are a couple of guys that are just going to be, we're going to see all over the special teams units, and that are guys that either are starters or key members or maybe aren't, that are going to be key players on special teams?
Yeah, I think a couple guys you look at, Alex Tudor's got a great history here playing special teams, and you'll see him jump out. Ty Benefield does a great job. I'll tell you, Sire Gaines has done an awesome job for us for a freshman out there at running back. Chase Martin's a guy who has a linebacker, but there's a group of those guys that fit in. So the cool thing here is everybody's invested with it from the top down from Coach Danielson. So those are a handful of names, but I'm also looking to see who really shows up on Saturday and who can take that next step when we're in a true game environment.
You mentioned kind of the culture here and special teams always being an important part. Was that when you came in and with the logos and implemented all this, was that a pretty easy sell to get guys that want to buy into special teams?
Yeah, it certainly was here at Boise State. It's part of the DNA. They've won a lot of football games here well before I was even, watching from afar. And that's been the culture and DNA of this place. So it's been probably a lot easier than some other places.
Just to kind of kick it off on Saturday and see what you got and put all the hype and talk in the last 8 months kind of to bed and just kind of actually have a game on Saturday. What's the feeling like for you and the coaching staff?
Well, it's great. You're judged on the 12 game, 12 guaranteed game you have. So this is payday. You spend a lot of time getting to this point and certainly trying to check every box, and you got the butterflies still rolling, but we're excited to play. We've prepared well. It's our time to to lace them up and get on the field and put it in action.
And to have on the road week one, to have the kicker you do and the punter you do, how nice is that?
That's certainly nice. I mean, those are two great players, great people, great to be around. So having that battery back with Mason Hutton too as our long snappers, that's definitely an advantage for us on our end.
I know Tyler's doing a lot of the help with those guys, but is there anything in particular other than just distance or getting stronger? Is there anything that you've seen in the last 8 months that with Jonah and with James that we know where they've improved?
Yeah, I think they've attacked every snap from a game day standpoint. The mental side of it, certainly both have physical tools that have put them where they're at, but I think just how they've attacked every rep from a mental standpoint. Every rep is a game day rep for them, and so whether we're in situational kicking positions, whether we're directional hang, whatever we're working off of that, I think that's what I've been most impressed with how the mental steps that they've taken over the last, especially these last few weeks of camp.
And I'm going to have to be talking to Marco here pretty soon too.
Yeah.
How's he done this camp? And I know last year, kind of obviously did some things, and I know he's healthy and stuff. I mean, where's Marco and the importance that he is to this defense?
Yeah, Marco's in a great spot. He's back physically, which was the biggest challenge going through a couple different injuries, but wasn't able to get here spring. But he's an unbelievable summer, unbelievable fall camp. The man bleeds blue. He's an ultra alpha. He understands the room. He understands our system as well as anybody. And I'm fired up to get out and watch him play.
And obviously with Andrew, his play and production kind of speaks for itself. But we've seen Jake Rip and Chase Banks, Martin, some of these other guys. I mean, how do you feel about the depth you have at linebacker?
Yeah, you got to have depth. I mean, these are long seasons. You've got to play multiple guys. I mean, I can't just get the days of just maybe playing 2 linebackers and sitting through the season's not there. So we'll use those guys in multiple roles. We'll keep guys fresh. We'll play them, and then we're going to use those guys on special teams too.
In terms of the travel roster and all that, and going back to kind of the redshirt rule and all that with the freshmen and special teams, how was that conversation? How'd that go? 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, in terms of just deciding what true freshmen might be out there and how they contribute on special teams. And maybe it's not as many in the past if a lot of your starters are out there playing, but how's that conversation always go?
Yeah, that's certainly a role for those guys, and those guys are scrapping and fighting for those roles, and they want to play. So if they've proven they can get on the field, we're going to play whoever's best is, and there's best in that situation. We're going to see some young guys on the field. You're going to see some guys out there for the first time, and we're excited to do that.
Well, there he is, Stacey Collins. Special teams going to be a big factor in the game today, obviously. You see Boise State going through some plays and things right in front of us. Almost had a chance to grab the football there. They're about done with their warm-ups. They're going to have a kick and a punt, and they're heading into the locker room here to get ready for this one. So 26 minutes until kickoff. You see some of the coaches coming off right now. There's Eric Chenander, Dirk Cutter, Maddox Madsen, number 4, right here in the front of this group. You can see him. There's the mascot, the Eagle. There's the Eagle. How you feeling, Eagle? Give him help. Give him help. Gus is giving us hell, apparently. All right, there we go. Thanks, Gus. And there you go. You see the players waiting for the final kick to go through the uprights here. Jonah Dalmas attempting about a 30-yard field goal. Surprise, surprise, it's right through the middle. And here go the Broncos into the locker room for the final time to regroup before coming out for kickoff here at Paulson Stadium. Bronco fans making some noise here in the corner of the end zone. A lot of trash talking going on. Ashton Genty already fired up, trash talking with the students over there for Georgia Southern. Oh, this could get fun. Look at these guys talking. Look at Ashton Genty. He's fired up. Got a little swagger as he skips back towards the locker room. Oh, man, this could be fun here, folks. Had some trash talking going on. Looked like they were getting into it with Ashton Genty a little bit there on the sideline with the fans. So here goes Spencer Danielson. He's the last guy to head off. And this has been a lot of fun. We really appreciate you guys for checking us out. Lithia Ford, a Boise pregame show. Again, the Western Collective Studios. Appreciate Kerry Pruitt and Western Collective. We thank all of our sponsors for what they're doing for Bronco Nation News. There's 13 of them. I can't remember them. Here they are.
Bronco Nation News is presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, The Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.
All right, we appreciate you guys for checking us out. They're getting ready for the pregame show here with the band and the cheerleaders. I got to pack all this stuff up and try to get up to the press box by kickoff. Thank you so much, guys. I know the signal's going out now, too, so it looks like perfect timing maybe if we're having some issues with the signal. But, again, thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you guys for watching the show. Really appreciate it. An hour and 40 minutes. We're approaching 2,000 viewers. Man, it's going to be a fun football season, and we're very excited to kick it off here in about 25 minutes over on ESPNU. So thanks so much. Enjoy the game. Go subscribe if you can. Again, BNN50 deal is the promo code. You get $50 for that first year if you can help us out and help us provide coverage like you've gotten here watching this live pregame show from Paulson Stadium here in Statesboro, Georgia. So make sure you hit that like button before you get out of here. I think it's over on this side. Like the video. Help open the algorithms. And again, on the Taco Bell postgame show, it's going to be 5 minutes after the game ends. Soon as the game ends, come back to YouTube. Mike Sanford will kick off the postgame show. I'll talk to Spencer Danielson and some players. We'll get that locked into the system as well, and I'll join Mike in the middle of the show. So, guys, we made it. 259 days. Boise State is back, and they're about to take on Georgia Southern. So thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the game. Hope you're drinking some Horseshoe Golden Ale.
We'll talk on the post game. Make sure you follow them on Twitter, Bronco Nation. You got 20 minutes. That's just enough time to log on to your computer and subscribe for $50 to Bronco Nation News. Like us on Facebook. Like us on all of our social media channels, but most importantly, YouTube. Make sure you give us that YouTube subscription and follow here. So thank you, guys. Now, so I think it's perfect to have a great